What's up, everybody, and welcome to Eat, Sleep, Anime. We are reviewing Apothecary Diaries Season 2, and man, oh man, it has been an amazing season. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with my good friend, Derek Daniel. Derek, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Looking forward to, last episode dubbed came out last night. Can't wait to talk about it because I was catching up to this point earlier in the week, and man, oh man, like you said, they what season one did, they doubled it and passed it to the next season.
Exactly, dude. Like the way first season like kind of ramped and ended was really good, and then they just were like, "Hold my beer,"
Yeah.
and just went ham on this season. So, we're not gonna like dive into like all the intricate details and everything because we want you to go watch it if you haven't already, and we want to know your thoughts. But Derek, let me know, what did you think of season 2 of Apothecary Diaries?
So it just took kind of like what we said a minute ago. It took what season one did and just kept enhancing on it. Now, yes, it did start off. Season two did start off like kind of the same way season one did, where it's just setting it, but it did more. I think it did more of an intricate job of like setting up, like dropping little breadcrumbs to lead to this like bigger story thread that we got to. And we did get some answers from season one, answered that we had all been wondering. One of them was what we all kind of thought, but it was like for me, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you, Zach, but one of the threads, like involving Jinshi, I thought it was, I always thought like it was pretty obvious he had these ties, but I didn't think it was as high as
Oh,
it
really?
went. Yeah, because I thought it
Okay.
was like the story of Lady Ajwa, like the
Yep.
previous, like when MaoMao was first talking about like, oh, the missing the child that went missing or whatnot, like that we never was accounted for. Like I thought Jinchi was just like
The
I
one that got
guess
swapped.
yeah, the one that got swapped, but I didn't think he was. And this is, I guess, we're not going to spoil everything, but but there's some parts we can't talk about without spoiling. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a 3 second countdown. Three, two, one. I thought Jinchi was just like the son of the emperor. I didn't think he was the brother of the emperor.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, that makes so much better sense,
yeah.
and I like it. And now that explains why he's having such that struggle of power. Like he didn't want. I'd like to know a little bit more intricacy of why he chose not to step up to the throne. Whether it was, even if it was just like, yeah, I just didn't want that responsibility type thing. Like that's fine, but I feel like that never got really explained in this
Hmm.
season. But the fact that I always knew he was in some relation to the emperor, but I didn't think he was the brother of the emperor, which is crazy. So
Yeah. Yeah, and the way they've like set up that kind of mystery with like, oh, the moon prince is like sickly, that's why you never
mhm.
see him and all of this. But like I put it together in season 1. I was
Oh
like, okay,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's like the brother of the emperor and everything. But when it finally comes out, but like seeing like his like duality where he's like fighting, and I think a lot of it comes down to, I don't think people took him seriously
Right.
because of the way he looks and everything.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't want the responsibility, I don't want to have people's lives in my hand, so I'm
Yeah.
going to go to the rear palace and take care of this. Like
Right.
that seemed, I think he was taking like an easy out, and then it was like, oh, this is not an easy out at all. Having to
No.
deal with all of these
Yeah.
concubines.
Yeah. All the personalities, all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So no, but I think that was a good reveal. And like again, like the name was cool as well. Like it was the episode title of episode 12. And like saying like that was when we got the official reveal. And I'm like, this was a cool setup. This was worth the wait to get to here. But just like again, like how it set up season, like how season one did until MaoMao got there, like it was just like, oh, these things are happening. Like, oh, let me solve these riddles and let me just figure this out. And the season two set up the same way. I'm like, cool, more of the same. And then they started bringing up like characters from season one, especially one that went missing after a certain incident
Hmm.
um, in there. And there's like, I'm like, are we going to get the answer to this later? This because I feel like they wouldn't bring up that name if we
Yep.
didn't see them come back in season 2, and we did. And the way it was done was so well done. And then like the from that point, it just kept snowballing, where it was just like, oh, this, and I called it like with when, and again, 3, 2, 1, when Lolan went missing, and I was
Mm,
like, and then MaoMao got captured, and everything. I'm just like, is Lolan Shisui? And I said, I don't know. I actually remember I didn't even question it. I said, "Oh, Lolan is Shisui." This is before they came to the revelation that Shisui was that when I think it was Gauchwin came up, as like, "Oh, there's no record of a Shisui that works here," and I'm like,
mm.
"I knew it." And then when we got that reveal, I'm like, "I knew it!" Like it was like Thor from
I didn't
Endgame.
get that at all, dude. And I love that about this show because like it's got like the way Apothecary Diaries comes off is like it's going to be this kind of like slice of life,
hmm
just kind of like maybe a
Yeah,
little political drama or whatever, but the mystery.
like a poison of the week type thing, or like mystery of the week.
Yeah, like a little Sherlock adventure kind of deal.
Yeah.
But the way they've been able to build and ramp it up the entire time has been quite impressive. But
hmm
I was not expecting Lolan and Shisui being the same person. I was like, oh, wow. And
I
like,
wouldn't have got it either, but it's something in my head just clicked, and I'm like, what if it is this? And I'm like, oh no, it is this. I've seen certain stuff like from other TV shows, like watching all like growing up or whatever. I've seen like plot threads like this before. I'm like, what if it now? I've been wrong before, but I'm like, I feel like this is how it's working out. Because it was just too coincidentally of timing, coincidental of timing, where it was like, oh, Shisui's taking him, and then all of a sudden Lolan goes missing. I knew
yeah.
Lolan would be involved somehow. But again, when that story thread unfolds and you see all the connecting dots and all the people involved, it was just so well done and so well set up, especially like, okay, that was weird. My on my side, our screens both went black and started like buffering. But
Yeah,
anyway, yes,
you were frozen, so
so, but no, like the way it was, so like the way we got to there, and like even when they went to the village and like they had that festival, I'm like, oh, this is like setting up, because like Shisui is basically letting MaoMao know, oh, this is like, I'm wearing a mask, like I have another identity. I'm
mm,
like, okay. And even going back, like go back, like there are certain instances like that were just so cool, like the Tower of Choosing, or the choosing tower, like whatever, like where the emperor went through, and then that
mhm.
reveal of like, oh, like the mother, like the I forget
The
what you
color
call
blindness and all of
the
that.
color blindness, like, but just like the descendants of what, I forget, the mother or something, like of the myth, like the tale that they told. Anyway,
Yeah.
the descendants can tell, and like that's why they had concubines with them. Like that was just so well done, and like the fact that MaoMao like deduced it and like broke it down is just so cool. I'm like, this is why this is such a cool show, because yeah, they tell you stuff, but they tell you after stuff, after you, just because it's like MaoMao's personality. Because like we talked about in season 1 review, this is like the diaries are from her perspective, and her foster dad always told her, never make an assumption without like fact checking it,
Yeah.
essentially. And this is her fact checking, and like we get the fact check, and then we get the explanation. Like it's just such a cool show to have this bit, to watch and see the
Well,
story unfold.
and it's like there like the no conjecture thing, and this just clicked to me. The color blindness, like
hmm
that we saw with the Emperor, with the doors, brings back into the mask because the mask were red.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Shisui explained that or mentioned
Yeah,
that, and that's when I'm like, oh, that's a cool callback.
yeah. The way they were able to build up Shisui's dad, I can't remember his name,
Yeah.
and like show him as like, oh, he's like this cunning, sneaky guy, like he's doing all of this kind of stuff. Like his story was so flippin' sad, dude.
It was.
And like on the outside, you're like, oh, he's this cunning Tanuki or whatever. That's like they titled him, but it's like, no, he was a pushover. Like he was
Yeah.
just going like he really just wanted to marry the woman that he loved, and then she was so like all about her image and all of this, and
Yeah.
God, that woman sucked so much.
Yes. There were so many times I'm just like, hit her, hit her.
Yeah. Yeah. The way it all ends, I'm like, it was satisfying, but it wasn't as satisfying as
No.
I wanted it to be.
It's like you didn't get enough.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go to like the like expedition real quick where Jinshi, Gaoshun, MaoMao, like they go on that like
Hunting trip?
expedition. Yeah, the hunting trip and
Yes,
everything.
that one was so good as well.
Yeah, like and dealing with the Shi Clan and like that's where they try to, murk Jinshi and all of
Yeah.
that. And it's just like, oh, okay, like we've got the bigger plot here, and it's like, is this tied to the Shi Clan? And they've got the Falfa, the guns or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, but we get a very interesting scene, the frog scene.
Yeah, the frog scene. I'm just like, where it was discovered, like the plot, like for Mao, like the plot thickens essentially, like where it's like, oh, he's wearing a mask, he must be an important figure, and like you see her start to put together and figure it out, but then it's when she figures out that Jinshi isn't who he's claimed to be in the rear palace, and I'm just like, and the way they find out, and then like where it's almost like, yeah, he was kind of like he didn't have that heat fever anymore, but it was also like, are you still having a heat stroke, because you're acting very out of character in this scene, Jinshi? Like,
Yeah, I
well,
was
and it's
like, dude.
right before they get to like the opening on the top of the cave, where he's just like they're wringing out their clothes, and he's like, I don't want to look, I don't want to look, and then all of a sudden he does a complete 180. I'm like, bro, you good? Bro, like what brought this on?
Them hormones be pumping, you know what I mean?
I know. Well, and it's like that was just like a setup of like, because what I know you we had talked about in the season one review, like the author hates Jinshi, that he wanted to kill him
Yeah.
off, and all of a sudden he gained popularity. He's like, I hate this, and like writing it, but again, the fans have like, it's done such a well story that you figured that MaoMao and Jinshi would be like end up being together. And like there's like they hint, so like there's so many times where it's like they almost hit that point where
Yep.
they express their feelings, especially toward the end. Like the end just like almost killed me. I'm just like, kiss her already, and it's just
Yep.
like, and then it
Yep.
gets interrupted, and I'm like, it's almost comedic at this point. It's like a typical love story where the two people that are going to end up together keep getting distracted or have interruptions to where they can't express their true feelings. And but that scene, I'm just like, all right, you going from 0 to 60 real fast, my guy. I need you to pump the brakes, dial it back. I'm kind of glad this got interrupted, because it would have gotten a little weird.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm curious what when the author, when she was writing it, like all of this, like she was like, oh, this would be funny, like the frog thing.
Yeah.
And how it comes back at the end of the season. She's like, not the frog again. Like Amy and I were like busting out laughing. And I think, even though the author not enjoying writing the relationship of Jinshi and MaoMao, where, you look at, we love Akira Toriyama, but his like distaste of Vegeta and how Vegeta always loses,
Yeah.
like that kind of hinders some of the progression for Vegeta. This, on the other hand, I feel like she's done a really good job of developing the character, and even to the point where like Shisui is like, oh, I've got 2 requests, and one was to like scar him. And it was like, at that moment, it's like, oh, my face is everything. But then he realizes that it's not, that he's got more to give, that he has a very cunning mind. And
you see him talk about that in episode 47, like the second to last episode, where maybe episode 48. Yeah, no, it's when MaoMao wakes up and sees the scar, and she's like, she mentioned something about it, and he's like, if I'm not worth more than my looks, then what good am I? Essentially.
Yeah, and that was a really poignant moment, because that everybody in the rear palace thinks of that,
yes,
of him and everything that way, and I just think that was really solid writing. and the way they set up the Shi Clan and like their coup d'etat, like their
Yeah.
tried coup, the way like everything gets pieced together, like lumber going up and iron, and like the economical part of it
Yes.
was just really really well done. And you see this huge fortress, it's like the set piece of like the end of the season and
Hmm.
everything, and they're developing gunpowder, and they're trying to set themselves up. But the way that everything kind of concludes is just really really good. But the thing that I wanted to bring up was, what did you think when Shisui was like, oh, I gave them medicine and put like, how did you feel in that moment? Did you put it together, or were you like,
I
holy
did
crap?
that part. I did not put together
Neither
only
did
be
I.
only because it was just like, from her perspective, she was saving them from
Hmm.
because, like she said, she was like, if they capture them, they're probably going to either sell them off or kill them, like
Yeah.
because of their traitorous nature. And it was like one of those like guilty by association. So and she didn't want them to have to grow up with that trauma of just like of being either slaves or being dead, being like, oh, my siblings are dead because of this, just because we existed, or like we were in the same we're the same clan. I thought she
Well,
was
the
free,
rule
like,
is like, if you're part of the Shi clan, you get killed
yeah, or just part
because
of
the
a
clan.
traitorous clan. So,
Yeah, it's like
um,
you get killed because you tried to, rebel.
right. And like she freed him because she's like, well, they're going to die anyway, and plus, why not let them go peacefully rather than them have to be scared in their last moments because of something, the sins of their parents, type deal. But when they did, and it was all a happy ending because there was something that happened with Shisui in episode 47 that I was just like, it was kind of like that had to happen type deal. And I'm like, it kind of made sense. But then in like literally the next episode, we get those, like, it all ended up happy for both of them, like both the kids and Shisui. I'm just like, and it's like, oh, they used the revival elixir, and I mean, I know that one little bratty kid, he didn't get the full effects. He kind of got a little side effect of it. Um, but still, it was just like, oh, cool, like like Shisui really cared about these kids, and then seeing her, the happy ending that she got, I'm just like, okay, cool, it's happy for everyone. I do wonder if they'll meet again later down the road. We'll get to that in a minute. Because I did see, excuse me, they didn't show it, of course, at the end of the episode, but I went and looked up the research, like, oh, because I knew the next season or the next project, it was the wording that was weird, but they got confirmed. But I read a little bit more into it, but we'll get into that in a second. But no, like, I did not see that coming. I literally thought of more of it like as an honorable death type
Yeah.
thing. Just like saying like, okay, our folks did you wrong. Like, we, of course, we didn't want this for you. Let's give you an honorable moment. Let's just let you go peacefully, and like just not let you think, like not let you see the horror of how this is going to play out and see everyone around you get killed.
Yeah, I thought it was like, holy crap. And it's like, it was like a knee jerk reaction of like, oh my god, like she killed all the children.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, well, this is much better than being, struck down by a sword from a soldier or whatever, because that's the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, well, it was merciful because the alternative way worse.
Yeah.
And then her request to Jinshi, where he like, she played it so perfectly. It's like, people that have already died and came back or whatever, that are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like talking about her sister and everything, and it was just like, okay, that makes sense. But I wasn't putting it together with the kids. And then once they're like reviving, you're like, oh, and like Jinshi like puts it together as well. It's like, you clever girl.
Yeah.
Like, it was just really, really well done. And like her character development, where she's following her mom, like she's talked about like, oh, I always had to, play like I was cruel and had to do all of this, that, and the other. And then like her going through those like final like hour or so before the attack and during the attack,
Hmm.
and setting up how it was all going to end. It's like she was highly intelligent,
Yes, she
highly
was.
emotionally intelligent, and able to reveal all of this stuff, which was just it was just masterfully done. And like
Yes.
when Jinchi like pulls down the thing and she's like bang. I'm like I was just like, oh gosh. I was like, how is this gonna go? Just really good stuff in that part.
Yeah, it was well, so well done. Um Again, like I said, they doubled it in season 1 and passed it on to season 2, and they just keep getting it just keeps getting better, and I hope they build that momentum into the next season again. Which, again, they're not calling it season 3, they're just calling it the next or the next project. And
Project.
I'm like, is this going to be a side story? Is this going to be or are they counting it as a different, because what they did, what the mini synopsis said, new lands await and other stuff. And so I'm thinking they're going to be going to a different land. They're going to be leaving the rear
Mm,
palace and going like, I don't know if it's just going to be Jinshi and MaoMao. I don't know if it's going to be like for political reasons. I don't know. But they're going to be going to new lands in the next episode or the next part. So I don't know if they're not calling it season 3 because it's going to be taking place in a new part, and they're just saying like, oh, this is the next story or the next chapter in this story. Maybe I'm looking a little too into it. It was just the wording of it. But I want to say, the reason I say I hope they meet together is because you see Shisui go off somewhere else, like saying like, all right, I'm going to go out and venture the world essentially, or like go to the next place. I wonder if wherever MaoMao and Jinshi are going, they'll eventually meet Shisui.
mm, yeah. I was actually going to bring that up. It was like she's like, "Oh, I've heard of like the other, like the land beyond the sea is like blah
Hmm.
blah 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 blah," and maybe they go to Japan,
Maybe.
because
We'll
like this
see.
is like a like fictional version of like China or
China.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting, or like Korea or something like that. Like
Hmm.
we could see some interesting stuff. Maybe Jinchi is like taking up his role as
The
well.
Moon
Now
Prince.
he's not technically
Yeah,
like
because Gyokyo gave birth to a son, so now he's the next heir to the throne.
yeah. So that pressure is off of Jinchi. So maybe he's more willing to step into the role that he's supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And then it's like he's more of a diplomat. He's building relationships outside of the country and everything. So
Hmm.
that might be where we're going. I'm not, we haven't read the manga or anything on
Yeah.
this one. But dude, I like the way they like the author has been able to connect things like the snake in the forest, like scaring.
Oh yes, that was so well done too. Because I'm just like, okay, I don't like snakes either, but this is a weird thing. And then it's like, oh, this is why. And then they get
Yeah.
the I forget what the term they called, but they used the term for it as the torture. And I'm like, oh, this explain. And even Mao Mao's like, this is why this character
Yeah.
doesn't like snakes.
Yeah, and it's like just like those little things, and so many times when you're watching an anime, like something will be brought up and then it's never resolved,
Hmm.
or it's overly explained. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I feel like
Or it's like they take their sweet time, where if it's a multi-season show, it's like they bring it up and it's almost like, oh, I forgot to explain this, let me in season 1, it's season 3 or 4, let me explain it now, and you kind of forget about, oh yeah, this was a thing.
yeah. So dude, I really really enjoyed this season. I can't wait for the next project and eventually the next season.
Hmm.
And I'm excited for it.
Me too, man. And there's been speculation, because some early rumblings were saying maybe 2027, which is fine. It's a 2-year gap, it'd be fine. But they're saying now, because of such of the production quality and the hype around it, they might make it late 2026. We don't know.
Mm,
Um, I'd rather wait, because again, as we say in video games, a rush project can be bad,
yeah.
if it's rushed. So I don't want them to rush it. Obviously, yes, they have the material, but we've seen like JJK and other anime, like when they rush it out, the animation suffers. So let's not do that. If it's 2027, fine. Like, let me get some breathing room. We had back to back essential years, because I know season 1 started end of 23 into 24. So we've got like back to back years essentially of great storytelling. So it's like, all right, let's take a breather and let's give it some room. Let's increase the hype and just make it like 27 to way build up anticipation.
Yeah, and like Amy and I were talking last night, it's like you literally can go and watch this and see more things through.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm excited to do is now that season 2 is completely finished. Dub is going back from season 1 all the way through season 2 again and making the connection, seeing the hints and the little nods throughout all of it. And I'm really, really excited for that. And we're excited that you were here, everybody. Make sure to join our Fable group. We're discussing an anime each and every month. Right now, we're doing Osan Newbie Adventure. It's a really great show. I think you would enjoy it. The QR code is down in the bottom right-hand corner. And make sure to stay tuned for more Eat Sleep Anime. This has been Zach.
And Derek.
God bless week. Bye-bye.